The Season 2 patch is finally coming to Call of Dragons. It unlocks a lot of new stuff, including new heroes, artifacts, and war pets. In today's video, I'm going to recap everything new coming for you in Season 2 for the Call of Dragons Icebound Oath patch. So first, we have the war pets. We have made an entire video guide about everything you need to know, whether you're using infantry, cavalry, archers, or mages, which war pet kind is best for your account. We detail everything you need to know about war pets in the video, so check it out. Now, of course, this is going to be a big addition to the game. It will allow you to make your marches more specified with special abilities that you will be able to purchase. Obviously, adding a lot of pay to win to it because you can purchase a lot of the currency with money and gems, but it will make a little bit of an interesting twist to this game where you can have a bit of a different thing from the other players, and some players will find builds that will work best for them. Now, for the more juicier part, obviously Season 2 is going to be coming. So if you are playing Call of Dragons right now, you are either in Season 1 from a new server that has started in the past 2 months, or you are going to be in Season 1 Plus, which is going to be basically the next season that came after Season 1 for players who have been playing for more like 3 or 4 months. Now, Season 2 will finally take it to a completely new map. I will be putting on the screen here a picture of the new map with the starting zones. So you will see which zone 1 and zone 2 and so far. So it is a pretty interesting layout, as well as it is a much smaller map. So it will take a lot less time to travel around, and a lot of the action will be compact in zones that are smaller, as currently it takes days and hours to move around and build around in these zones, which makes it quite slow on the PvP term. So this is going to be a new addition and a welcome one to have a bit more action and a lot more happening quicker, but also in a smaller traveling area, so people can do more stuff without having to wait for so much travel time when you have a limited amount of time per day to play. On that map, there will be the current Behemoth that we are used to, but there will also be some new Behemoths. Now, it's the Frost Dragon and the Frost Giant. The Frost Giant is very similar to the current Giant, with obviously some Frost team abilities, while the Frost Dragon will have a very unique mechanic. Just like the current Dragon, there is a very complex fight with a lot of stuff happening. Now, the Frost Dragon will have its own mechanics. We'll have to see when it is released exactly how it all works. But all in all, they sound interesting, but not much harder than what we're currently used to. There is also 2 new cavalry hero that will be launching with this patch. It is going to be obviously as soon as Season 2 launch that you'll be able to access them. We've theorized that these will be cavalry many weeks ago on our previous video, but we obviously were correct, as they are 2 melee type of heroes. This is going to be Ferondil. He is a flying cavalry hero, so for the elven units, they do have a flying cavalry, so this is going to be the hero for it. So obviously for those of you playing this style or this race, you will be very happy because the Spring Wardens didn't currently have any hero that could lead their cavalry that was specified for cavalry, that flew basically. So this is going to be one of them. A very interesting unit and very interesting hero, as he has cavalry, PvP, and control, which are all very PvP oriented trees. Of course, the control one and the PvP one are pretty self-explanatory. So this is going to be one hero that is meant to kill other players with those flying calves. There are going to be a lot of different secondary heroes that work well with him. Basically, all the currently legendary cav hero will have their place with him as secondary, depending on your account and the way you are playing. Now, Theodore, also a cavalry, but with garrison and skill. So of course, this is going to be aimed at, first of all, garrison, most specifically for gates, but also for routes of war, where you will need garrison for a lot of buildings. So this is going to give an option where you can garrison with cavalry instead of infantry, which is currently what the only real garrison heroes that exist are for. So this is going to be adding a little bit of spice to the game and letting you do stuff that hasn't been done before. But after looking at some of his skill, he will also be a pretty decent field combatant, and having the skill and cavalry trees also are pretty good because these are very high damaging trees, and the skill one does definitely work well with a hero like Bakshi, for example, or even Emrys, who has a very high skill damage first ability, rage ability. So we'll have to obviously see when they are up in the field, because it is hard to test by just reading the description, but it is going to be 2 very interesting cav heroes, which will add a lot of spice to the game because we currently don't have a lot of cav heroes. as it is always Emrys and Bakshi everywhere. So this is going to be adding a little bit of difference and will make for some interesting combos and setups. Now it is fair to think that after these heroes, we will have either mages or infantry heroes coming out in Season 2, as there is going to be a total, I think, of 8 new heroes in Season 2. So Ferondale is here, Theodore is here. So these two will obviously be for infantry and then mages or vice versa. So this is something that is safe to assume, and because they are G2, it is also pretty safe to assume that they will be all coming towards the Season 2. So in Season 2, we will see a few rotations. Maybe there will be a Season 2 Plus, which will also maybe allow for some of the last ones to be released. We don't know exactly yet, but it is fair to assume that because we just got 2 archers, marksman heroes, and now 2 calves, that we will be getting 2 of each of the other ones. So even if these are pretty interesting and cool heroes, if you are waiting for infantry or for mages, which is what many people probably are, because mages are the more free-to-play and long-range aspect of this game. So make sure to save up your tokens for what you really want, because you will not be able to get every single one of these heroes max. Only a few of them will be accessible. Even for whales, it will take a long time. So this is something to keep in mind. Now, we also are getting a new artifact. There might be more than one coming in the future, but this is the one that is for now the released one. It is a cavalry PvP tank item, so it is going to be obviously very good for the new cav marches, and it has the design of the spring wardens, the elves. So basically this will most likely be a good fit with Ferondale, the new elf flying cavalry hero. But it is a pretty weird item. So this will, when you activate it, it will summon a clone of your legion. So there'll be another little cav march right beside yours, and it'll have the exact same skills and all of that stuff, and cast rage skills. Now this is where it's interesting, because casting rage skills, if you have debuffs, slows, stuff like that, that makes the enemy march weaker, it will stack. You will be able to cast it twice, so you can have a bigger effect. Obviously we don't know exactly which stack how and everything, all the details, but it is interesting to know that you'll be able to duplicate a rage skill, so this will add a lot of strategy to the game eventually. But it will also deal 90% less damage, so it will be mostly good for the effects, as well as to kind of like tank some hits. But 1600 damage taken extra, which means it will die from literally any AoE that touches it. So I personally find that this is going to be a very situational and most likely very weak artifact for PvP. But if you have a small skirmish where another march can basically make a big difference by absorbing hits or blocking hits, or even blocking marches, this could be interesting. It will also make it so that your legion inflict coordinates on enemy legion, making their damage taken by 4%. Now this is basically the best strength of this artifact, especially if you have 2 marches applying that. I'm not sure if it stacks. It will be something we'll have to find out. But this is going to be a very weird artifact. I would obviously recommend free-to-plays to stay a bit away from it, because I don't think it will be very good for free-to-play, as opposed to the current artifacts that just do a bunch of damage or allow you to blink and all this kind of stuff. So this is going to be very situational, but interesting as always, because it adds some kind of like intricacy to the game that we're not used to, and makes it so that there's a lot more strategy involved in the end. Now, just going over some of the patch notes. Of course, the patch released today, so most of these patch notes are currently live, but Season 2 is not currently live for everyone. So if you go here, you will see in the season reward that we currently do not have a summary or next season begins, but these things are obviously going to be coming pretty soon, as it is what the patch notes say. And my season is over. We already have the dragon. We've done all the elite fights, so there's really nothing left to do in our season. So hopefully this comes quickly for other servers that are currently in the same position. So obviously this is going to be talking about Season 2. Now Season 2 is taking us to a new map that is dwarf themed. So there's going to be a lot of dwarf type enemies, as well as a lot of different mobs and decor. It is going to be interesting, of course. It's called the Belerion faction. So this is dwarven infantry, dwarven cavalry from that kingdom. There's obviously the new Behemoths as well, and the current Behemoths will also have exclusive Behemoth affixes, which will make it so the fight against them is a little bit different. So that will be interesting, of course. There is also going to be quite a lot of new stuff. So Proving Grounds, we're not sure what it is, but it is going to be some kind of event, or something, maybe replacing the village, where you go and fight and get some, rewards and blessings, whatever that means. as well as there will be a lot of exploration. Of course, it's going to be a new map, so a lot of new stuff to go with our exploration. There will be all of the pet sanctuary stuff, all of the pets. So obviously check out my video about the pets to have an idea of exactly how it works. And they also added quite a lot of new stuff for the richer combat experience. So, okay, for new heroes, new artifact, and as well new dark creatures on the map, which are basically the war pets. They've also done some changes with the dark creatures, the way they attack, as well as the gold curse artifact has been a bit changed, and some of the skills of some heroes has been I wouldn't say nerfed because it's not very nerfed. In this MRIS condition, it's basically a buff for the early game. But so there's really not much difference here, so you can read up more about it. There's a lot of Roots of War battlefield experience improvement, so that's going to be nice. They're fixing a lot of issues and stuff, so basically whenever you have issues or you notice different bugs in the game, make sure to report them, because this is where they eventually make fixes for them. There's going to be some different battlefield buffs for this place as well, which have been clarified here. And there's a bit of fixes with some of the mobs and Legion passes, unit dying from Behemoths, stuff like that. So this is going to be just quality of life improvements in general. They've also improved some of the events like Breaking Through, Celestial Battleground, Trial of Lights. So there's going to be better difficulty levels or rewards and stuff like that. It's just been a bit modified and changed to be quality of life changes for the game, as well as the PC. PC is basically the best way to play this game. If you're not playing on PC, and you can, I would recommend you look into it, because it is really good and makes the game a lot easier, especially in PvP. And they're adding improvements always, all the time, making it much smoother and very easy to play. So that's about it, of course. As we explore Season 2, when Season 2 opens, we will be making a video and showing you exactly what the map looks like, as well as how my alliance and my server is going to be handling it, because we are obviously winners of Season 1 and 1+, which means we have a pretty strong advantage going into this, and we have a very large family of people going into it, so there's always a lot of things to manage in the beginning with new alliances and stuff like that. So make sure to follow and subscribe to check out our story and what we are going to be doing in Season 2 on our server. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any question, make sure to comment in the comment section below, and we'll see you on the next video.